is at your service alongside Javi Palanya and Sam Coloso. Now, Javi, you got to see one of the all-stars na si Ronnie Matias. Obviously, matapang talaga yan, lalaban yan kontra sa Gensan. But if you're the Gensan team, no, yung sense of urgency mo, nasaan na yan sa puntong ito ng ating season?
Well, they definitely have to be looking to be sharp heading into the postseason. With Manila almost out of contention for that 8th spot in the Northern Division, you have to be able to take care of business right now because you don't want to have mistakes coming into the postseason where you're expected to perform at a very high rate, being one of the top teams in your division.
Now, Gensan, sigurado na pong may home court advantage sila sa ating first round of the playoffs. But they can either be the number 3 seed or the number 4 seed. And to explain that, we give you our team standings.
Now, Gensan right now currently at the 3rd spot here, 14-6. This is their last game of our regular season. But Bacolod still trying to catch up to them for that 3rd spot. But definitely home court advantage will be there for the Gensan Warriors. So this game very important for them in terms of sharpening up for the postseason.
Sarangani actually has a couple of games to their name, no? If they win all of those games, Sarangani will be number 3, Gensan will be number 4. But in a case of a 3-way tie, it will be Sarangani at 5, Bacolod at 4, and Gensan at 3. Now, Manila at the north.
Ito naman Manila, also playing their last game of the regular season. They have to win this game to have a chance of even making it to the playoffs. But of course, that fate is not in their hands. They'll have to hope that Caloocan and Marikina will lose their remaining games to be able to barge in to the postseason.
Manila Stars, let's talk about their previous game. It was a loss in overtime against Bataan. They had a marvelous comeback, just came up short.
Yeah, this was a game where they could have snapped a long losing streak, 7-game losing streak. Before that loss, now they're on an 8-game losing skid. So Bataan really took care of business in extra period, scoring 52% from the field while limiting the Stars to only 45.3. 3-point field goal shooting was on the side of the Risers in that game, hitting 9 out of 26. And the turnovers, once again, naging problema na naman yan para sa Manila. They committed 16, which Bataan converted into 26 in bench points. Lamang dyan ang Manila surprisingly, but buti na lang Bataan was able to take care of business in that extra 5 minutes.
Well, today it's going to be a big challenge for them because they only have a couple of players available in this game. As we talk about the Gensan Warriors who won by 35 against Laguna in their previous outing.
Well, once again, a dominant game here for the Gensan Warriors, really preparing themselves primed for the postseason. 47.8 from the field, 9 out of 22 from 3-point country. Only committed 10 turnovers while forcing 14 on the side of the Laguna Croatia Heroes, which they converted into 19 turnover points. And that bench looking very good para sa kupunan ni Coach Marlon Martin.
Gensan Warriors, we mentioned they're trying to establish themselves as the number 3 seed in that South Division. Very important in terms of home court advantage in our upcoming playoffs. Now, let's turn you over to Miguel Pere, our arena announcer for the starting lineups.
Here we go with our second game for this Friday's triple header here at the Nueva Ecija Coliseum in Palayan City. It's Gensan versus Manila on the OK Bet, Manny Pacquiao's MPBL 4th season, presented by Extreme. Let's make way for the starters, beginning with Manila, David and Rojas Construction Stars. Starting at guard number 6, Mark Yu. Also at guard number 9, Marvin Lee. At center number 34, Sham Banyes. At small forward number 88, Francis Camacho. And also at forward number 23, Julius Manalo. The head coach for Manila David Rojas Construction Stars is Maximino Dayandante Jr., assisted by PJ Del Rosario. Team manager is Ado Salazar. Team sponsor is Ryan Rojas. Team owners are Raymond Ang and Emilio Chu. And now the starters for the Gensan Warriors OK Bet. Our forward number 13, Don Raverente. Starting at center number 81, Hafer Mondragon. At guard number 6, Alvin Chan. Also at forward number 16, JP Penencion. And at one guard number 9, the Ant-Man, Mark Cruz. The Gensan Warriors OK Bet will be led by Vic Escudero. His assistants are Noy Pido, Joel Gragasin, Adrian Bucal, and Peter Peliguero. Team manager is Mr. Merman Flores. Referees for this ball game.
Your starters for Manila and Gensan: Mark Yu, Marvin Lee, Sam Banez, Francis Camacho, and Julius Manalo para sa Manila. Mark Cruz, Elvin Chan, Happer Mondragon, JP Belenchon, and Don Reverente naman para sa Gensan Warriors. Manila with 6 wins and 14 losses in the season. They've struggled after being at an even 500 midway through the season. They've lost their last 8 games. The other end, Gensan, at some point they won 8 straight games, but it was snapped by Zamboanga in Zamboanga. Now they have 14 wins and 6 losses to their name. This will be the final games of these two teams respectively in our 2022 season. Thank you so much for joining us. This is Mix Gomez at the service alongside Javi Palanya and Sam Coloso. JP Belenchon, Happer Mondragon, on to Elvin Chan. Back to JP. Being defended by Marvin Lee. There's that patented step back from JP Belenchon.
He just loves that shot. Ito si JP Belenchon opening up festivities in this game with a hit from downtown.
There are only 7 players available for the Manila Stars in this game. You can see Ronnie Matias at the bench alongside Aaron Aban. They have their 5 youngest players now fielded on the court. Mark Cruz. They swing it over. Elvin Chan. Back to the Ant-Man. Belenchon. So Manila is using this zone to try to counter Gensan. Miss mula kay JP. Another chance here for the Warriors. Reverente. Elvin Chan thought about it. Driving kick. 4 on the shot clock. Belenchon. Reverente. That's tapped away by Camacho. 2-on-1. Francis Camacho. He goes all the way, but that's a walk.
That's not the way you run a 2-on-1. Marvin Lee was wide open on the right side. Instead, Camacho tried to take it for himself, resulting in a turnover, taking an extra step before going for that shot.
Balik tayo sa Gensan against that zone of Manila. You've seen Manila do this couple of games in the season where they only have a couple of players, but they've won one of those games against Quezon City. It happened in Marikina. It's Julius Manalo.
The zone here for Manila, tactically speaking, not the right thing that you would do against a team like Gensan, who have a lot of dead shot shooters from the outside. But because they are depleted, they cannot afford to go match up, at least for the entire game. So they're really taking their chances here of playing this 2-3 zone.
To your point, this guy's a deadly shooter, JP Belenchon. Elvin Chan's also a deadly shooter, as well as the Ant-Man, Mark Cruz. And there you go. A 3-point shot. Shotgun in the house para kay Elvin Chan.
Right on cue, Elvin Chan hitting from downtown.
There's Marvin Lee, also a shooter. It's short. Chan running the break. Gives it up to JP. 6-0. 2-3 so far for the Warriors. There you see the third shooter. Mark Cruz just missing. Good rebound by Gensan. Mondragon onto Reverente. 1-2. That's a beautiful move.
That was a beautiful move, but also give credit to the great ball movement from those 3 players on the left side of the floor. Belenchon, Mondragon, and Don Reverente conniving there to get that basket. Exquisite sidestep right there to lose Camacho and get him up in the air for the 2 points.
That's after getting offensive rebounds for their team. 8-0 start here for Gensan. Talk about the numbers for Manila and Gensan.
Well, defense has really been the problem all season long for the Manila Stars, allowing 79.9 points per game to their opponents in this season. And sometimes they're not really to blame because there have been a lot of games this season where they go on with a depleted roster, and that's exactly what's happening also in today's game. 7 players lang nasa lineup para sa laro na to.
Mark Cruz, turnover for them. Manila will run on the other end. Manalo, kick out. Mark Yu at the corner. That's short. Ball tapped away. One more chance here for Manila. Marvin Lee. Floater is short. You run on the other end. Oh, good tap by Mark Yu. We've known him for his speed all season long. Marvin Lee. He's known for his shooting, just couldn't convert. Another chance for Manila. And another miss. It's still scoreless here. And they turn it over.
Multiple opportunities there for the Stars. You look at the makeup of their lineup, especially the one that they have on the floor right now. This is a team that could very well push the pace every time they get. Kaya lang, they don't have the luxury of having enough players on that bench to try and give them a spell when they get tired. As Mark Cruz hits a three-pointer for Gensan, extending this 11-0.
4 players have scored for the Warriors, everyone except for Hafer Mondragon in the starting lineup. Camacho will fire. Finally, Manila's on board.
One of the more reliable scorers para dito sa Manila, getting them on the board.
Reverente, back to the Ant-Man, tapped away. Marquis was already ready for a pass. Fouled here as Camacho was able to track it down.
Aside from being a very fast lineup, this Manila Star squad, at least this unit on the floor, is a very scrappy unit. So expect them to have a lot of active hands. Getting a turnover right there. Can they sustain it? That is the question of this game.
Pasok dito ang dalawang veterano, Ronnie Matias and Aaron Aban. Pinalitan sina Julius Manalo and Sam Banez. Here's the All-Star. Matias on the drive, kicking it out. Mark Yu will fire. And he puts it in.
And just like that, after a couple of threes, just a 5-point advantage para dito sa Gensan.
Mark Cruz against that zone. Short, rebound, Aban. 11-6. Mark Yu onto Francis Camacho. In and out this time. Balik tayo sa Gensan. JP. I mean, in terms of flashiness, hindi talaga magkukulang dyan si JP Valencion. Same applies for Elvin Chan, by the way. JP, wow, on the 1-2. Rare 3 right there. Hafer Mondragon scoring. Everyone has scored for Gensan so far.
Well, I expect to see a lot of offensive rebounds and second chance opportunities in this game para sa Gensan.
Francis Camacho scoring inside. 5 points so far for him. 3 players set to check in for the Warriors. Gerald Anderson, Chris Masaglang, and Nico Elorde. That only means it's gonna be a faster pace as soon as they come in.
And that is a very destructive 3-guard lineup.
So full 5 here. Nicole Sorella and Marlon Gomez being called upon as well by the Warriors as we turn you over to Sam Coloso.
7 players lang daw sila sa Manila Stars. Wala si Roldan Sara, Joaquin Mariano, June Bonsubre at Mon Rugado. While susunod naman daw si Jay Yutok if ever he feels better. But they're all experiencing COVID symptoms and they just want to observe protocols. Sabi ni Coach Max to his players, enjoy this last game and no pressure at ibigay lahat sa last day of elimination. Kahit ganito lang tayo kaonte, ilaban hanggang dulo. Back to you guys.
I wonder what Jay Yutok's plan is at this point, no? And where is he coming from? Because we're all the way here in Ecija. Nevertheless, we continue with the action here. 13-8 is the score. 3 minutes and 14 in the opening quarter. Gerald Anderson, the cut and the layup.
I just am very impressed. Every time he takes the floor, he has always had positive impact para sa Gensan. That's just a testament to the hard work that he puts in. Even if he doesn't show up in practice because of prior commitments, always is able to put on a show para sa kanyang kupunan.
It's a crazy story to hear, no? Gerald Anderson, during their tapings, as Chris Masaglang makes a three-point shot, he has some players to practice with dun sa kanilang bubble, so he could be, you know, in good condition, stay in condition for Gensan, and he honors, you know, his absences as well. He honors the fact that he has to come from the bench. He has limited minutes only playing for Gensan. But then again, in those limited minutes, highly effective ito si Gerald Anderson.
Exactly, very efficient player.
And he gives up the assist to Marlon Gomez.
And right away, he's responsible for 4 points. He's barely 2 minutes into this game.
Mark Hugh onto Marvin Lee. Baseline drive. Layup is good.
For Manila to be able to have a chance here, Marvin Lee will have to have a big game scoring-wise. We all know what he can do on that end of the floor.
Julius Malalo checking back in. Take a look at this play. Marlon Gomez finding Gerald Anderson on a beautiful play by Gensan. Great off-the-ball movement, great passing, and Anderson returning the favor back to Marlon Gomez on the next play. Forward pass, Pasaglang signature. That time it's short on the mid-range. Takbo sa kabila. Mark Yu, he loves this, the open court, and he lays it in.
Oh, Mark Yu definitely, that's his strength, the open floor. But can Manila be able to put him in positions to attack that ring on the fast break if they're not able to get defensive stops?
22-12 here, a minute and 10 remaining in the opening frame. Ronnie Matias against Marlon Gomez. They swing it over to Francis Camacho, one of their mid-season additions in this lineup. Matias with 6 to work with. Almost a steal. Ronnie, half to the rim, and he lays it in.
Very cool,
there's
very
a push.
calm. Very composed. Oh, what happened there?
Referee not going to call anything here. Nico Elorde seems to be fine. By the way, belated happy birthday to Nico Elorde. Gerald Anderson, too strong. Rebound, Aaron Aban. Forward pass. Oh, what a steal. Now that's what Gerald Anderson can do for you. Very effective on both ends of the floor. Sorry miss for Marlon Gomez. Takbo sa kabila, 2-on-1. Mark Yu onto Camacho.
Didn't do well on that occasion during the opening minutes of this game, but this time it's Francis Camacho, the recipient of that pass to finish that 2-on-1 break para sa Stars.
Nico Elorde calling the play with 8 seconds to work with here in the opening frame. They're up by 6. Manila fighting really hard with only 7 players. Nico will fire. Could not beat the buzzer. So after that very strong start by Gensan in this game, Manila keeping at it, only down by 6.
The scrappiness of the Manila Stars have been working to their favor here in the first quarter. JP Valencion opening up things here in the opening period with that beautiful step back jumper from three-point country. Elvin Chan also putting up the bombs from downtown, but Ronnie Matias and company have been at it in this game because of the relentlessness in trying to find the basket and getting those stops. Running on the break, Gerald Anderson, his usual self, performing well off the bench.
Gerald Anderson, already very effective in this game. He has an assist, 2 points to his name. Sabi nga sa atin ni Marvin Lee, star-studded itong laro natin na ito dahil nandyan si Young JV at the bench of Gensan, and they have a teammate na si Sam Banyes, who Marvin Lee tells us nakamukha ni Sian Lim. So yun yung celebrity ng Manila Stars in today's ball game.
The star-studded naman kasi talaga itong laro na to. Siyempre Manila Stars yung naglalaro.
Tama. Sarela scoring inside, answering the bucket of Manila, who by the way are just down by 6 points in this game. Camacho, that's too strong. Rebound to the All-Star, Masaglang. By the way, Chris Masaglang almost got the All-Star Game MVP as Gerald Anderson makes his first 3-point shot.
Well, if he keeps that up, Anderson might very well be the MVP of this game.
Anderson, obviously the crowd favorite wherever he plays, all over the country. But remember, Gensan will have home court advantage. And Gerald Anderson will be one of the people capitalizing on that as one of their homegrowns. Good behind the back pass by Nico Elorde. And it's 2 points for Marlon Gomez. The other end, Aaron Aban stepping back. Good defense by Gensan. Elorde seems to be hurt here. Natamaan yung kanyang daliri as Aaron Aban makes a jump shot.
Seen that a lot of times during the course of his career. Aaron Aban has always been a very reliable three-point shooter.
29-21. Marlon Gomez onto Masaglang. Baseline. Back and forth they go. Aban able to read it. Julius Manalo against two defenders. That's a tough layup. Ooh! Elorde tapping it to his teammate. Sorella wasn't ready though. Pasok dito si Jerry Pingoy para kay Nico Elorde, who was still nursing that finger that seemed to be not 100% on natamaan the previous play. Baseline inbound for Manila. 2 minutes gone by in the second. Here's Julius Manalo. Oh, what a block by Nicole Sorella.
I think this game is the perfect chance for Nicole Sorella to get some minutes, see what he can do. A very reliable three-point shooter, has good defensive instincts, and also a veteran presence on the floor para sa iyong koponan.
I want to ask you this. At the start of this season, Gensan wasn't really up there in the standings. Right now, they're number 3 in the South Division. How do you see them matching up against the other teams in the playoffs?
Well, they definitely have a lot of tools to be able to be successful against the top teams in the league. They have good shooters. They have a very deep point guard rotation. They have reliable big men. And they're very good defensively, especially their guards.
Speaking of guards, here's Jerry Pingoy. They go to the other guard. Anderson, Pingoy, Sorella. Now it's Marlon Gomez who will fire. That's a 3. We've seen that in Gensan. They're big men making 3-point shots.
They will even be deadlier if guys like Marlon Gomez are able to hit from downtown. We know that Sorella has that outside shot. But if Gomez, known as an inside operator, will be able to be reliable from that distance, that could spell a lot of doom for the other squads.
Now, fast break opportunity for Gensan. Anderson with a sorry miss. These fans getting a treat in today's outing. A close game between Imus and Bacoor. Now, you have stars like Gerald Anderson playing the second game, and then later on, the Nueva Ecija Rice Vanguards will be defending their home court against Batangas City. That's a clear foul against Ronnie Matias.
Pingoy has always had good on-ball instincts.
Pasok dito si John Orbeta. By the way, no, Nico Panganiban, the all-star starter for the Gensan Warriors, is in street clothes today. Let's see if we can get a camera on him. Nandun siya sa dulo ng bench ng Gensan wearing black and khaki shorts. We talked about Panganiban emerging as one of the rising stars in the MPBL. It happened in General Santos City. Shot is too strong for Gerald Anderson as he turns you over to Sam Coloso.
Thanks, Migs. Para sa Gensan, they almost didn't make it on time in today's game dahil niligaw daw sila ng Waze. 6.5 hours daw ang biyahe nila going to this venue. Wala pa din ngayon si Nico Panganiban dahil namamaga daw ang tuhod niya and they need him more in the playoffs. Aside from Nico, Gensan's head coach na si Coach Kit, he's also not here with us today because he is experiencing kidney stones. So Coach Vic Escudero is filling in his shoes today. Back to you guys.
First of all, we would like to extend our thoughts and prayers to Coach Marlon Martin. Hopefully he's going to be okay. As well as Nico Elorde, who hurt his finger at the start of this quarter. Nico Panganiban as well with that knee injury. They're going to need him, as Sam mentioned, especially in the playoffs. We talked about him as the rising star. He was that all-star starter selected from this very deep Gensan squad. And let me just say this. The travel from Metro Manila to Nueva Ecija is 3 hours. It already feels like a long journey. What more was that 6 hours that it took for Gensan to get here?
×2 the regular time going here. It nakakapagod yung mix kahit nasa kotse ka lang.
Exactly. You can actually argue it makes it even more tiring dahil nasa kotse ka lang, unable to move. Remember, these players, these are very tall players. Mahaba yung mga legs ng mga yan. Sometimes the fit in the cars might not be good for them.
Exactly. And couple that with, you know, not a lot of the roads going here are smooth. Kaya pag matagtag yung biyahe, mas nakakapagod yun eh.
Right. Anderson proceeds to the line. Technical free throw for him. Getting the cheers from the crowd. So, between the journey of Bacoor and Gensan, mukhang mas maganda talaga yung naranasan ng Bacoor City Strikers. Kahit hindi nagkasya yung bus nila dito sa bridge ng Palayan City, at least nakalipat sila sa jeep. At hindi na-delay yung biyahe nila.
And for sure, it was a much more joyous experience para sa kanila. Nakasmile nga sila dun sa picture eh.
That would be probably one of their best memories in the MPBL at the Bacoor City Strikers.
Sabi ko nga eh, I'm gonna tell Coach Willie, Coach, arkilahin nyo na yung jeep na na-rent nyo today.
And there's Sam Banyes na tinatawag ni Marvin Lee as the Sian Lim of this game. 33-23. Here's Gerald. They go to the cutting Brian Hilario. No good. There's Christian Pajarito. Another miss. Mark Yu. Look at the speed. Sorry, miss inside. Ronnie Matias on the putback.
The ability to get from point A to point B at lightning speed. Mark Yu, my God.
33-25. Folks, it's only an 8-point ball game. Manila keeping at it. Same thing that they did against Quezon City. After they actually won that game, no? They were able to start slow but finish strong in that game as Christian Pajarito scores inside.
So talking about stellar play, ito si Christian Pajarito has definitely been churning in good numbers para dito sa Gensan Warriors, a revelation for them. I've said this a lot. He's always been a player who is said to have huge potential, but that potential not always realized. Pero nakikita na natin slowly but surely dito sa MPBL para sa Warriors.
Well, he is very young, right? Si Christian Pajarito. A lot of mileage ahead of him. Yun nga lang sa mileage na yun, 6 hours ang kinuha ng araw na ito. But looks like they're still good. No? They're playing very well. They have a 10-point lead. Anderson will fire. That's another 3.
So kung ganun nga rin naman, 6 hours din talaga sana at bumiyahe man pang Gensan papuntang Nueva Ecija parate.
Huwag naman sana. As Mark Yu answers back on the other end, 38-27. Boy, Gerald Anderson, by the way, has had a very good start in this game. Here he is once more. No foul called. The cut and the deuce from John Orbeta.
Boy, John Orbeta, he used to be one of the most exciting players in the MPBL, right? Has obviously lost some feet off that vertical.
Matias gets the ball back. Ronnie behind the back. Oh, that's a beautiful feed to Sam Banyes.
That looked to hit a teammate, or rather a player of the Gensan Warriors, but still ended up in the hands of Sam Banyes. Isa sa mga naging prodigy ni Coach Mabs Bautista.
40-29. Anderson again. That's too strong. Tries to chase that ball. Manila keeping at it. Marvin Lee. Mark Yu now trying to shake off Gerald Anderson. He gives it inside. That's too strong. Mark Yu on the follow.
Nobody boxing out on that end of the floor. That was supposed to be John Orbeta's job to try and block out Mark Yu, but nobody stopping him there for that tip-in.
See the resiliency, the hard work being shown on the floor by Manila. They cut the lead down to 9. We bring you this epic move of the game in partnership with OK Bet. Own the win behind the back from the all-star center of the Manila Stars, Ronnie Matias, giving it up to Sam Banez for 2.
Matias is actually one of the best big men passers in the league. He's averaging 4.1 assists this season.
He's taking a breather right now. Manila down by 9. Mark Yu will fire. That's short. Hilario gets the board. By the way, young JB is already inside the game as he replaced Gerald Anderson. Pajarito onto Hilario, taking his time. That's a beautiful move. It's basket and 1.
I just love big men who love to pass to each other in that shaded area. Pajarito gets position on the middle of the floor. Hilario times his cut very well, and that's a good handoff para dito kay Pajarito to Brian, who finishes getting the hoop and the hit.
Great for these two players to get minutes in today's ball game. Obviously, there have been a lot of games. Most games they haven't played. Hindi kaya limited minutes lamang. Beautiful opportunity for them to prove what they can do here. Young JB goes down. Trying to defend Marvin Lee. 3-point shot, bounces out. Balik tayo sa Gensan. Kapunan onto Pingoy. Into Hilario now. Balik kay Kapunan. 11 on the shot clock. They go to Pajarito. Clear height advantage. Oh, what a feed inside to John Orbeta.
Oh boy, Pajarito looks to pass every time he gets it at that spot on the floor, middle of the shaded area. Another beautiful feed.
A proud senior here in the FEU Baby Tamaraos program, Javi Palanya, to his junior na si Christian Pajarito, and now it's Brian Hilario showing us that he also has that 3-point shot.
Well, I'm also very lucky for this guy. Started out this season on the injured list para sa Gensan Warriors, and then had a hard time cracking the main lineup because of the depth nitong Gensan Warriors. Siyempre, meron na sila mga mid-season additions, but right now, in their last game against the Manila Stars, showing out and proving that he could also hoop out.
There you see that 3-point shot mula kay Brian Hilario. After Manila cut it down to 9 points, it's an 8-0 run for Gensan. Our head of basketball operations, Emer Oreta, and head of security, the peacemaker, former leader destroyer, Rudy Distrito, present at the sidelines. Patuloy po ang Liga ng Baot Pilipino. Kahapon sa Bataan, ngayon sa Nueva Ecija, bukas sa Pampanga, Lunes sa Muntinlupa. Tuesday, we go back to Pampanga. Thursday in Caloocan. And then next Saturday, we go back here inside the Nueva Ecija Coliseum in Palayan City to begin your 2022 MPBL playoffs. There's a foul here against Gensan.
That's definitely the right call. Tried to go for the swipe against itong si Marvin Lee. Si young JV, I believe, is the one who's going to be meted with the personal.
Take a look at it. Lee ended up having to throw the ball straight to the face of John Orbeta. He quickly apologized to him.
Di naman sadya yan.
And Orbeta knew it. You mentioned this guy was a star before, one of the mainstays of the Gensan Warriors. Yes, his numbers are really up there in the Lacan season. But it was really a different look in terms of roster para sa Gensan.
And he too has battled injuries in the recent years. Ito si John Orbeta, big reason why his athleticism has depleted. I'm not really sure, but I know he had a lot of above-the-rim highlights in seasons past.
I know that he has that athleticism in him. And yes, he was really dynamic as a scorer. He was always up there in the box score. So the foul was against Young JV, right? Young
That's right.
JV, and then the tech against Marvin Lee for unintentionally throwing the ball onto the face of John Orbeta. Marvin Lee won't argue anymore. Young JV proceeds to the line. The first shot is good.
You know, if Gerald Anderson has been working hard, even if he has not been attending practices, this guy as well, the passion that he has for the game, lagi yan nagpa-practice, nagsiskills yan parate. He also does play with Gerald when the time permits. He just loves to learn, to get better. Itong si Young JB, despite his profession as a recording artist.
And there you go. So sila pala yung magkasabay, no?
Oo.
Na nag-i-ensayo. That's actually a good thing for their team, no? 49-41. Under 100 seconds here in the second frame.
And actually, before making his name here, making his way here rather to the MPBL, as Hilario gets another bucket, Young JV was a fixture in a lot of commercial leagues and also in the recreational basketball circuit.
Very interesting. That's why he deserves to be here.
At saka ano yan, high scorer yan, si Young JV. But Brian Hilario has been spectacular in his short stint here on the floor.
8 points so far for Brian Hilario. One of the top performers for Gensan in the first half. Mark Yu onto Manalo. We swing it over to Sam Banyas. In and out. Folks, it has been an 11-0 run for the Gensan Warriors. Young JV will fire. That's a three.
And narinig niyo talaga doon si Jerry Pingoy, who was egging him to take that shot, and no problem right there hitting the bottom of the net.
How about Jerry Pingoy able to utilize the talents that he has on the floor?
Well, you know, a scorer, explosive one at that during his high school days, but he has always had a great feel for the game and a very willing and able passer when he wants to. Ikakaiba rin na yung basketball IQ niya. Of course, being the son of a former player as well, Jerry Pingoy Sr. That's why it's in his blood.
Look at Pingoy. He has been that point guard that has highlighted these talents. Fajarito, Kapunan, Hilario, more so in this quarter, and even John Orbeta. 54-31, Camacho extending and scoring.
Going all the way and skying for that 2 points. Ito si Francis Camacho trying to salvage some pride for his team, but they are still very much down as you wind down this first half.
That broke the 14-0 run by Gensan. 6 seconds remaining. Hilario has had a fantastic first half so far. No good. And time will expire. We conclude the first 2 quarters of play, the second game of your triple header here in Palayan City. Before that recent run of Gensan, Manila was right at it. They were able to trim the lead down to 9 points, but the second unit of Gensan proving themselves very effective in this game. And one of those people coming off the bench is Gerald Anderson.
And can you believe already 41 bench points in this game para sa Gensan Warriors? But going back to Gerald, I'm not even surprised that he turned in this kind of performance, and we're only in the first half. I hope Coach Vic Escudero uses him more in the second half. We might just see a career game in this match para kay Gerald Anderson.
And I'm pretty sure our courtside reporter is very excited for this interview. Let's turn you over to Sam Coloso.
Kasama nga natin ang ating best player of the half, Gerald Anderson from the Gensan Warriors. Gerald, wala nga ang ating head coach today because he is having kidney stones. Pero it seems like hindi kayo naapektuhan. Take me through your first half.
Yeah, ganun talaga. Kung ano yung binilin sa amin ni Coach Marlon, parang ginagawa namin. Si Coach Vic naman nag-step up as head coach. And kahit last game ng elimination round, napaka-importante pa rin itong game na to.
Gerald, Manila is trying to give you guys a good fight. So anong kailangan yung gawin sa second half?
Just maintain kung ano ginawa namin sa first half and just play good defense. Medyo nag-relax kami ng konti, so we have to play good D.
Maraming salamat and good luck to you and your team, Gerald. Once again, that was Gerald Anderson from the Gensan Warriors. Mga kaliga, magbabalik po ang Maharlika Pilipinas Basketball League.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, MPBL na, MPBL na. Yan ang liga ng bawat Pilipino sa Luzon, sa Visayas.
This is a game between the Gensan Warriors and the Manila Stars. We are at a score of 33-54 in favor of Gensan. At kasama ko nga ngayon ang Gensan's assistant coach, Coach Makoy Lequin. Coach, it's your last game today and you don't want a dipping performance. Anong kailangan yung gawin today?
Yun lang in-inspire namin. We have to keep focus. That's how lagi namin pinag-usapan. Keep focus. Kung ano yung pinapractice namin sa practice game namin, yun din ang ginagawa namin sa actual game namin. And we have to be consistent, especially it's playoff time.
Coach, you're fighting for the home court advantage. How much will that mean to you and your team?
Siyempre, iba yung may home court advantage eh. Lalo na yung mga fans namin sa Gensan, nami-miss na namin. And we look forward for them to see them again. And hopefully we can get this home court advantage. So, Warriors, let's get ready.
Speaking of fans sa Gensan, mukhang marami kang kailangan batiin, Coach. Batiin nyo na po sila.
Oh yes, una, yung Warriors would like to thank our sponsors, especially OK Bet, CD14, si Boss Carlo and Dinky ng Sportswear, Jinky Skin, Tycoon 69 and Iconic Motor and Sales, si Brother Nick. Thank you very much, Boss Nick. And I also would like to say hi to Mommy Angelique, and my son is coming out anytime soon, Max. Get ready. Thank you very much. Sa lahat ng fans ng MPBL, keep on supporting, and thank you very much, Nueva Ecija.
Maraming salamat and good luck to you and your team, Coach. Once again, that was Coach Makoy Lequin, the assistant coach of Gensan Warriors. Mga kaliga, wag po kayong aalis. Magbabalik ang Maharlika Pilipinas Basketball League.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, MPBL na, MPBL na. Yan ang liga ng bawat Pilipino sa Luzon, sa Visayas, sa Mindanao.
back inside the MPBL Coliseum, all the way from Palayan City. Second game at hand for your Friday triple header of the MPBL. The Gensan Warriors off to a great start here. It was actually toe-to-toe before the latter part of the second, where the Warriors were able to pull away, and it has been a well-balanced effort. No Coach Marlon Martin here, but no problem para sa Gensan Warriors. They have fielded all of their players so far, and all of them except for Jerry Pingoy and Nico Elorde have scored. And if you actually look at the box score, none of these players, except for Gerald Anderson, have played more than 10 minutes in this game. And then again, if you look at the minutes of Anderson, he's only played 10 minutes in 6 seconds. Ganun po sila kabalanse.
And the fluidity of the game of Gensan has really been showing in this game. Even their big men have been creating good passes for their fellow big men in that shaded area. Brian Hilario has turned in a great game in such a short stint on the floor. 48% from the field. Very efficient outing for Gensan in this game. Most of their points coming from high percentage shots, while limiting the Stars to only 33%. The assists have been on point. 19 assists. Jerry Pingoy leading them with 4. Fajarito has 3, creating a lot of good inside passes for Brian Hilario and the like. Fast break points have been on the side of the Stars, as Joseph Manalo and you and company have been trying to push the pace. Kaya lang Gensan is just too good, just too deep in this game, as evident by those 41 bench points in Manila. Only has 7, which is something that we expected, only having 2 players coming off the bench.
They mentioned Marky running the floor. He is the leading scorer with 9 points. Camacho, Matias, and Banyas behind him. The other end, well balanced for Gensan. Gomez, Anderson, Hilario, and Orbeta leading the way. But then again, of their 15 players, 13 of them have already put themselves on the board. And they begin the third with their starters once more. Reverente, Chan, Mondragon, Cruz, and Belenchon, who have all played 6 minutes and 14 seconds in total in the first half. Reverente with the first 2 points.
And once again, Gensan starting off this third quarter strongly, getting a basket right away. This time it's from Don Reverente.
The other end, Manila, starting with Ronnie Matias, Francis Camacho, Aaron Aban, Julius Manalo, and Mark Yu. There's a foul inside.
The only way for Manila to get back in this game is to have good games from guys like Marvin Lee, and especially from their all-star na si Ronnie Matias. But he has not done enough to try and affect this basketball game. Only 4 points in this match para kay Ronnie.
They go to Aaron Aban, fade away. You know, even though he's up there, ang ganda pa rin panoorin ng jump shot ni Aaron Aban.
Yeah, you know, I've always loved the way Aaron Aban has stroked that basketball. Ever since the first time I watched him play with the Letran Knights in the NCAA, I have always marveled at the very conventional, very textbook way that he releases the basketball on his shot.
And it helps that he is also a very lengthy shooter. He can obviously play that 2 position. Recently played at Ala Pilipinas in the ABL. Great to see him back here.
Yeah, oh boy, imagine that that Letran team before that had Big Mac Andaya, Ronje Enlire, Aaron Aban, among those players, very dominant, playing under Coach Louis Alas. Always a perennial contender for the championship in their college days.
Did they have Willie Miller with them? Or nauna si Willie?
Nauna si Willie.
Mark Yu scoring inside with a layup. Stays aggressive here for Manila. Mark Cruz. Reverente. Oh, beautiful feed. A sorry miss though for Mondragon. 56-37. Yu onto Camacho for 3. Short. Yu still able to grab that board, just losing space.
You know, looking at the brighter side, if you're gonna look ahead para sa Manila, at least you have some good pieces that you could work on. Of course, you have the need to add quality players on your roster, but there definitely have been bright spots for them this season, and I think that's something that they could work on as they look ahead to the possible 34 team field that we have for the next campaign.
As much as they have struggled late in this season, remember, this is one of the winningest franchises in MPBL history, as Aaron Aban scores for 2. And at the start of this season, before this 8-game losing streak, they were at 6-6. And in one of those wins, it was a victory against the Zamboanga Family's Brand Sardines. As you get to see that one-legged three-pointer from JP Belenchon.
Yun na nga, at least they have the distinction of getting wins against some of the top teams, Zamboanga being one of them.
That was actually the first loss, no, of Zamboanga in the season. Surprised everybody. It happened in their very own Paco Arena. Take a look at this three-point shot brought to you by Extreme One-Stop Shop Appliances. Believe it or not, folks, he practices those three-point shots.
Oh yeah, and I don't know of anybody else who takes that shot during games.
And he made it look so smooth.
Pang-horse yung mga ganyan tire.
Exactly. I've seen three-point shots, mga right-handed players, na nagsisimula yung 1-2 sa right leg. It's right to left. Yun baliktad, left to right.
And simple as he made it look, that is not very easy at all. You really have to practice that. Impeccable footwork galing dito kay JP Belenchon.
If you guys want to know about it, you can follow JP Belenchon. Marami siyang highlights sa kanyang mga social media accounts about him just practicing step-back threes. Mark Cruz passing the ball on to Mondragon, who wasn't ready for it, so it bounced out.
And by the way, itong si JP Belenchon, that has not always been his game. He has always been a shooter, always been a great defender, pero may mga ganyang fancy footwork na yan. Alam ko, recently na lang yan sa kanyang karera eh.
Yes, it happened in the middle of his MPBL career. At tumuloy-tuloy yan. Mark Cruz. JP was asking for it. There you go, that one-legged three again. Just couldn't get it to go. Sorry miss for Mark Cruz on the second try. And it's tapped outside by Don Reverente. Francis Camacho, the other end. Baseline drive. They go to Manalo, who will fire. No good. Rebound Reverente. Number 4 in the league in terms of rebounding. Itong si Don Reverente. 10.6. And he is also the number 1 offensive rebounder at 4.3 per ball game. There you go. He gets that bucket on the second try.
The bionic man, as I like to call him, itong si Don Reverente. Doesn't seem to get tired. Doesn't seem to be bothered every time he gets contact. And he's always in shape.
Well, he does train in the Navy. Itong si Don Reverente. That's why you can also argue, paano niya nababalanse yun? Yesterday, we were just talking about Engineer Ken Osicos, Pastor Drake Santos. How about Don Reverente? We're not sure what his specific position is in the Navy. But you can see it paying off in his body. Ronnie Matias. That's a steal by Elvin Chan. Trying to protect that ball. Bounce pass. Beautiful feed. A sorry miss for Jerry Pingoy.
He babied that one and he knows it.
The other end, Camacho thought it was a shot. The pass by Mark Yu. By the way, we mentioned Jerry Pingoy and Nico Elordi are the last two people who haven't scored here for Gensan. Nico won't be able to do that anymore as he's not with the team. Later on, we're going to hear more of that from Sam Coloso. But Jerry surely has a chance to score here. Mark Yu. He will drive and the layup is good.
All gas, no brakes para kay Mark Yu. And, you know, he has been trying to keep this ship afloat for the sinking Manila Stars in this game.
Balik tayo, Jerry Pingoy. 4 assists so far to his name. Reverente. Tough pass. They go to Elvin Chan. That's too strong. Rebound, Matias. Ronnie Matias is number 3 in the league in rebounding. At 10.6 per ball game. Francis Camacho scoring inside.
Gensan, the last thing they want to do here is relax. And this is just a 16-point lead. Still very much manageable. If they slack off, which Yu is not doing in this game, they might just find themselves in a close match if they're not able to take care of business.
You can definitely count on Mark Yu pushing the pace. 61-45.
Nico Elorde is being rushed to the hospital right now pagkatapos daw mahampas in the first half. He was in so much pain at namimilipit daw siya sa sakit. Sabi ni Coach, it looked like he fractured his left wrist again at recurring injury nga daw ito. The Gensan coaches are hoping for the best dahil kailangan nga daw sila sa playoffs. Back to you guys.
You see Nico Elorde exiting the arena. That happened at halftime. So it was a recurring injury, not just a finger here, a wrist injury para kay Nico Elorde, who actually just celebrated his birthday. So that's very unfortunate for him. And we all know how much Gensan needs him, especially in the playoffs, as Christian Pajarito scores inside.
Yeah, Nico Elorde just gives a different dimension at that point guard spot para sa Gensan. Not only is his defense the one that Gensan is having a good time na meron sila, it's that steadiness at that point guard spot, yung experience, that leadership. He's always been that way ever since he was in college. So if you're gonna go deep into the postseason, you want him on your team, especially at times kung kailan na nararattle na sila during games, and he is there to steady the ship.
And Elorde has proved that time and time again in the season for Gensan as one of their mid-season additions. You mentioned the defense as well. Every time magkasama sila ni Chris Masaglang, and they even have Gerald Anderson as their small forward. Always very deadly, getting those steals and the fast break points. As this free throw is brought to you by Extreme Appliances, ang subok at kumpletong appliance brand ng Pilipinas.
At marami na beses natin na nakita this season that Coach Marlon Martin likes to play Elorde at the 1 and Cruz at the 2, so Mark can focus on his scoring.
Which, as we know, he is very much capable of doing. At some point in the season, he scored 29 points on 10 out of 12 shooting. Itong si Mark Cruz.
Pajarito tried to get it to Anderson, who wasn't looking as he was cutting to the basket.
63-48. 4 bench players inside alongside Don Reverente. Pass onto the interior, and it's 2 points for Sam Banez.
6 points.
63-50. 3 minutes and change in the third. Gerald, Jerry, Pingoy. That's almost a turnover. Pajarito on the recovery, and he will go to the line.
Also, one interesting story, actually, if many people don't know, Marvin Lee and Christian Pajarito entered FEU Diliman at the same time.
So, junior mo rin si Marvin
Yes.
Lee, if you think about it. As this free throw is brought to you by Extreme Appliances, ang subok at kumpletong appliance brand ng Pilipinas.
And we all had no doubt that these two players were going to be somewhere in their basketball careers, but because Marvin Lee, for one, already had the talent. Pajarito always had the potential because he was very long, lanky. He was very athletic. It only was a matter of time before he really barged into the scene. Pero, you know, Lee, during his days with UST, became a bona fide star in college. That was something we were definitely not surprised about.
So he wasn't that good of a shooter in high school compared to college. 65 to 50. Marlon Gomez, no good. Rebound Banez. And here's Mark Yu. You can expect him to run and run and run and score.
Gensan has to find a way to get in front of Mark Yu every time he tries to get to the hoop, especially on the open court.
Do you think Mark Yu can be a hot commodity here in the MPBL as Chris Masaglang scores?
Oh yeah, especially for teams that really like to run. Teams like Zamboanga maybe could be of use. Pero siyempre, sa sobrang lalim ng Zamboanga, di na nila tinitingnan yan. But I'm saying teams with similar systems.
How about a team like Pampanga?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Anderson will miss. There's a foul inside. It's against Christian Pajarito. Pasok dito si Julius Manalo. Balik tayo kay Mark Yu. Just talking about him. Impressive all game long. Very fast for Manila. 18, 5, and 5 are his numbers. And now it's 2 points for Sam Banez.
This is just a 13-point lead. We were expecting Gensan to really turn on the Jets in this third quarter. Instead, they have been relaxing in this period.
Manila has been winning this quarter by 8 points. Here's Anderson. Still scoreless in the third. Floater. Too high and too strong. Banez gets it. Almost a turnover. Ronnie Matias giving us a dribbling clinic. And it ends up with Mark Yu, who now reaches 20 points in this game.
35 points between those two players, Camacho and Mark Yu.
There you see the hard work paying off for those two players. Again, Manila's only playing with 7 players in this game. Masaglang, that's short. Rebound, Matias. A chance for Manila to trim this into a single-digit lead. 30 seconds remaining in the third. Mark Yu against Anderson. The spin, the foul, almost a 3-point play opportunity, but he will proceed to the line.
There seems to be nothing slow about the way he moves, no?
Exactly. At hindi siya napapagod. Itong si Mark Yu.
It's the same energy, possession in, possession out.
Does he look like Andre Caraco to you?
A bit, yeah.
Right.
He just has a longer face.
Mark Yu, again, he has been very excellent in today's outing. Made the second free throw. 67-57, under 24 seconds to go in the third. Manila winning this quarter by 11 points. Pingoy against that zone. Pajarito at the middle. They swing it over. Marlon Gomez, 6 on the clock. Turnover for Gensan. Mark Yu has it. 2 seconds to go. Manalo has to fire. That is short, but Manila will take this a monstrous third frame for them.
The effort has been doubled, even tripled for Manila comparing to that of which that Gensan has shown in this period.
67-57 our score after 3. Francis Camacho, he had 23 points in their previous outing, 9 rebounds as well. You mentioned one of the leading scorers in this game for Manila.
Now it's 15 points, had 23 against Bataan. One of the reasons why they were able to come close and snatching that victory away from the Risers, but Bataan just too good in the extra period.
Question is, does Manila have enough left in the tank to try to finish this comeback? They're still down by 10 points after being down by 21 beginning the second half. Thank you so much for joining us. This is Mix Gomez at your service alongside Javi Palanya and Sam Coloso.
If Mark Yu, as we look at the quarter scoring in this game, Manila being down in the first 2 but taking that third period by 11 points. If Mark Yu is able to score at least 35 points in this game, I'm calling it. This is going to be a close match down the wire.
Right now, the lead has been trimmed down to 8 points. And Manila has a chance now to continue breaking it down. Mark Yu not losing energy in this game. That's a good matchup this time against Chris Masaglang. Manalo onto Matias. Ronnie. Pass inside, almost intercepted. Good effort from Banez. And there's a foul.
Battling for possession against 3 Gensan Warriors. That was Orbeta, Hilario, and Ping Masaglang.
again, the Manila Stars have done this before. Only having 7-8 players on their roster, trailing in the first half, having a monstrous second half performance, and they were able to get that victory over Quezon City. The question is, can they do the same here against Gensan? Mark Yu, short on the 3. And it's Brian Hilario who's back in the ballgame. He had an excellent first half for Gensan.
8 points in the first 2 quarters, actually all in the second quarter. Para dito kay Brian Hilario, getting a lot of playing time here as the Warriors play their last game of the season today, as well as the Manila Stars. But if you're Gensan, this is no way to close out your campaign. And I'm sure wherever Coach Marlon Martinez, he is definitely not happy with the performance his team is putting on in this match.
They're going to want to build their momentum approaching the playoffs. As you mentioned, this is their last game. Currently, they are number 3 in the South Division. After this match, they are going to wait for the last games, the results of the Sarangani Marlins, to determine the seedings in the upper half of the South Division. But right now, the lead has been cut down to 6 points.
I did not imagine that this would happen at this point of the game, to tell you the truth. But I'm very happy that the Stars have proven me wrong.
Mark Cruz, no good on the runner. Good tap by Hilario. Balik sa kanilang point guard and onto the center. Marlon Gomez with the layup.
I feel like Gensan is rushing too much on their offensive sets. There's no reason for them to push the panic button. They just have to regroup.
Now it's 2+1.
Compose themselves. But this guy, Camacho, has been composed all game.
Safe to say, no, the MVPs for Manila in this game have been Mark Yu and Francis Camacho. Back-to-back baskets for him.
What a spectacular game once again para kay Francis Camacho, wanting to follow up on that 20-plus point performance against Bataan.
We saw his numbers, 10.3 points per ball game. Now a chance to double that for back-to-back outings in the MPBL. Their last appearance in the 2022 season, itong Manila Stars. Marlon Gomez banks it in for 2. The other end, Mark Yu not stopping at all, but it is a turnover. Marlon Gomez again. This time a miss. Rebound Matias. And a foul against Marlon.
And I believe Manila should just keep taking those gambles on the break. See if something spectacular can happen for them, which can create a fire and be something big para sa kanila. They can use that as momentum to try and get this really, really close.
71-63, 7.5 minutes remaining. Mark Yu needing a teammate. That's a wild pass. And it ended as a turnover. Mark Cruz back to Gomez. Marlon Gomez has been the answer for Gensan so far in this quarter.
When I said gamble, I was not saying careless. And that was a careless pass given up by the Stars.
Couple of horns here from the Nueva Ecija crowd as this free throw is brought to you by Extreme Appliances, ang subok at kumpletong appliance brand ng Pilipinas. Folks, I think you have noticed on your screens that this is jam-packed today inside the Nueva Ecija Coliseum, and there's only one reason for that. It is the Nueva Ecija Rice Vanguards defending their home court against the Batangas City Embassy Chill. Those two teams have been the top 2 teams for the longest time here in this 2022 season, just before Zamboanga took over that #1 spot in the South last night after their win against Pampanga. Batangas will have that golden opportunity to win it back, but it's going to be against the toughest team in the league, the currently undefeated Nueva Ecija squad.
Blockbuster matchup waiting to happen for us in the main attraction of this Friday triple header. Thank God it's Friday.
Good pass inside. Marvin Lee. Sorry miss for him. Orbeta. They go to Gomez. Marlon Gomez kicking it out. Mark Cruz will fire. That's a big one from the corner.
They needed that shot to wrest control back to their squad. And on the other side, the Stars, for all the brilliance that they've had in this game, I know that even if Mark Yu scores more than 35, if Marvin Lee doesn't put on the scoring as well para sa kanilang koponan, then it's gonna be hard for the Stars.
Magandang gabi, Pilipinas. We come back to you live from the Nueva Ecija Coliseum, all the way from Palayan City, where the crowd is set to erupt for the battle between two titans in the MPBL, the Nueva Ecija Rise Vanguards and the Batangas City Embassy Chill. We bring you this epic move of the game in partnership with OK Bet. On the win, the pass from Marlon Gomez, locating their point guard, the Ant-Man at the corner, na si Mark Cruz.
That's only his second three-point shot of the game, the second basket overall for Mark in this game.
How about this full court pressure from Gensan against the depleted lineup of Manila? They force a turnover. Masaglang, mid-range specialty, off the glass and in. And another steal, just couldn't be completed by Mark Cruz.
Well, clearly, Gensan is trying to make a statement in the last 6:44 of this game, realizing how flat out they played in that third quarter. And they owe it to themselves to play like this because they cannot expect to win games in the postseason no matter how high their seeding is kung ganito yung naging laro nila.
There's a foul against Brian Hilario. A little bit too aggressive on that play. To your point, the body language suddenly changed for the Warriors. It's another foul, this time against Marlon Gomez. Also, a little bit too aggressive.
And I'm pretty sure if Coach Marlon were here, he would give these boys a scolding right away. He never likes it when his players slack off.
Matias making the first free throw.
Of course, there's no shot at Coach Vic, but definitely, you know, it's different when your head coach is on the floor.
Right. By the way, again, we wish for the quick recovery of Coach Marlon Martin, who's currently experiencing some kidney stones. Ronnie Matias, 8 points, 10 rebounds, 4 assists so far. The all-star for Manila in this season. Masaglang, 12 on the shot clock. Pass inside, Hilario on the reverse.
You would think that Brian Hilario, just a regular bench player, but he could definitely put on the points for you, especially when given the opportunity. He has been using this time on the floor to his advantage.
Same can be said for Aaron Aban, who got that pass from Ronnie Matias. 6 minutes here remaining in this game. Masaglang again on the mid-range. This time it's short. Gomez on the putback.
Marlon Gomez, 16 points now in this game.
Five on the floor for Manila, being led by that guy, Ronnie Matias. The spin and the deuce. 81-69. 5 minutes and 33. Orbeta on the drive. He answers back.
That would have been a very acrobatic finish maybe a couple of years ago. But nevertheless, still 2 points there para kay J.O. John Orbeta.
Another foul here against Masaglang. It's more free throws for Manila. Let's take this time to explain the playoff situation of the Gensan Warriors. They're currently number 3 in the South Division with 14 wins and 6 losses. Behind them are Bacolod and Sarangani. Bacolod's already done with their season, 14 wins and 7 losses. Sarangani still has 3 games, 13 wins and 5 losses. Regardless what happens in this game for Gensan, they're gonna wait for the results of these Sarangani games because Sarangani still has a chance to grab that number 3 seed or the number 4 seed.
Yeah, that's right. Because if the Marlins are able to tie Gensan at 15-6, they hold the win over the other advantage, winning that game against the Warriors in one of the opening games of the season.
Let me correct that. There's actually no chance for Sarangani to be number 4 it's only number 3 or number 5 for them. Should there be a triple tie, Gensan will be 3, Bacolod will be 4, and Sarangani will be 5. Some people will say that's how messed up the standings are. Some people will argue that's how exciting the MPBL is. These teams with almost identical records, and you're gonna see them square off in the playoffs, folks, with home court advantage.
Yeah, I think that's just the right way to look at it. Huwag mo napansinin kung masyado magulo.
Yun nga yung nagpapasaya if you think about it. 86-70 now, under 5 minutes in the 4th frame.
It's always good for a league when you have teams who finish seasons on identical records, because that means that the parity is just really good and all teams are very competitive.
Banyas will miss. (86-70), Gensan with the basketball. Marlon Gomez. They go to Mark Cruz. On to John Orbeta. Oh, great passing by Gensan.
Definitely didn't see that in the 3rd quarter. First half, we saw a ton of those great passes, especially in the interior. J.O. bouncing it off to Hilario, to a cutting Marlon Gomez, who is top scoring once again para sa kanyang kupunan. 18 na ang ginagawa at 18 rin ang lamang dito ng Gensan Warriors heading into this timeout.
Let's talk about this guy, Marlon Gomez. Every time Gensan would need an answer here in the 4th frame, siya ang sasagot.
And he has responded very well to that challenge of his squad, putting up the numbers when Manila has tried to threaten within single digits, righting the ship here for Gensan.
Mark Yu. They kick it out. And that's a foul. 2 more free throws for Manila.
Ngayon nakikita mo na yung gigil nitong Gensan, especially on defense. And it's the right kind of aggressiveness because you see that they want to compete for every loose ball, wanting to play the passing lanes all the time.
This free throw is brought to you by Extreme Appliances, ang subok at kompletong appliance brand ng Pilipinas. Banyas converting. Second one is a miss. Rebound, Hilario. Mark Cruz will slow things down. They're up by 17. Masaglang onto Marlon Gomez. Against that zone. Back to the Ant-Man. 7 on the shot clock. Cruz still has it. He will fire. That's short. Good effort inside. Yu taps it to himself. And that's another foul against Gensan.
And Mark Q once again on the verge of trying to attack the cup, but was stopped in his tracks by a brick wall in Marlon Gomez. And no matter what happens here, you just have to applaud the effort of Mark Q carrying the torch for Manila despite having only 7 players in their lineup today. He has not stopped. He has not shown any signs of wanting to lose this game. Always has been possessing that winning attitude all throughout this match, and that is something that is very good if you're watching Manila.
24 points, 5 rebounds, and 7 assists from Mark Yu. Safe to say, this is his best performance of the season on their last game. And he mentioned, could be a hot commodity in the MPBL. Let's see where he will play next year. We all know, napakaraming off-season movements ang nagaganap dito sa ating liga.
Ako, imagine mo pa if he is able to sharpen that 3-point shot.
Right?
Oh my.
Timeout dito ang Gensan with 3 minutes to go. 88-73. Mula sa Luzon, sa Visayas, sa Mindanao at sa iba't ibang sulok ng mundo. Maraming salamat sa inyong panonood ng Maharlika Pilipinas Basketball League, ang Liga ng Bawat Pilipino. Up next here in Palayan City, it will be Nueva Ecija versus Batangas. Number 1 in the north, number 2 in the south, and Batangas will try to regain that top seed in their very own division after that victory last night of Zamboanga over Pampanga. Orbeta on the drive, stacked away. Manila running again. Mark Yu for 2.
Still a lot of time here for you to try and reach the 30-point mark. He is 4 points away from that. 26 now in the game for Mark Yu to go with his 6 rebounds and 7 assists.
What an impressive showing from Mark Yu. And he has dazzled the people inside Nueva Ecija as Gensan scores inside. 11 points for Orbeta. This seems to be the final lineup. And as I say that, Gerald Anderson is being called upon by the Gensan Warriors to return in this match. Manalo. That's another foul against Gensan. 2 more free throws for Manila.
It's really going to be special for Gensan. They're looking to have home court advantage in the playoffs, at least for the first round. It's really going to be special for the people in Gensan if Gerald Anderson will be able to play a lot of those playoff games.
Of course. Well, he has been dedicated to these Gensan Warriors. Lately, no? He has been present
Yeah.
for his team.
Kami na mag-re-request sa mga gustong kumuha kay Gerald Anderson sa mga projects, sa mga shows. Pagbigyan niyo muna ang mga MPBL fans to let him play in the MPBL postseason.
Give us 2 months, please.
Yes,
After
just
that,
2
you
months.
can have him. Or kung matalong Gensan, you can have him back. John Orbeta for 3.
And we're not saying that just because Gerald Anderson is a big celebrity. We're saying that because he is such a great watch on the floor. He is must-see TV.
And again, very effective para sa Gensan Warriors. I would actually say that he has improved this game from the previous season.
For sure, for sure.
Palipat-lipat din ng team yan. He started with Marikina onto Imos and now to his hometown, the Gensan Warriors. 5 on the shot clock. Hilario, kick out. Gomez, he has to fire. That's too strong. Banyas tracks it down. Manila down by 15. Camacho. And he puts it in. 1 minute and 8 seconds remaining.
Oh, that's also one guy I expect to be on the radar of a lot of teams next season.
Gerald Anderson, in and out. The other end, Mark Yu gives it up. Marvin Lee will fire. That's a 3.
Marvin Lee, only 5 points in this game. Pero hindi kasi natin napansin kasi sobrang ganda ng linaro ni Mark Yu.
Right. 28 points, 6 rebounds, 7 assists for Mark Yu. Almost got another one. 42 seconds remaining here. Anderson, ibabalik kay Urbeta. On to Mark Cruz. 8 on the shot clock. Mark Cruz for 3.
13 3-point shots in this game para sa Gensan Warriors. Manila only has 3. That could be their 4th.
That could be it. No more shot clock here. This ends the season of the Manila Stars. This team has fought numerous times with only 7-8 players in their roster, but this last game is a testament to their hearts. They put it all on the floor. Tonight they were led by Mark Yu at 28 points, 7 rebounds and 8 assists. Francis Camacho with 21 points and 7 rebounds. A marvelous performance mula sa kanilang mga manlalaro. But of course they were undermanned. Gensan was just too much for them. Marlon Gomez and Mark Cruz actually came in late in the game to recontrol it for their squad. As this player of the game is brought to you by OK Bet, the official partner of the MPBL. With OK Bet on the win, Marlon Gomez with 18, 5 and 5.
any game, you could just rely on Marlon to really put on the numbers in this game. Like you said, Mix, he was the one responsible for Gensan putting on the lead once again and securing this victory para sa Gensan Warriors.
96 to 83, our final score. It's actually a much better second half for Manila as we turn you over to Sam Coloso.
Kasama ko nga ngayon ang ating best player of the game, Marlon Gomez from the Gensan Warriors. Marlon, what a way to end this elimination round. Take me through your game.
Unang-una, nagpapasalamat ako sa Panginoon, tapos sa nanonood. Ganun lang ginawa namin kasi una pa lang nagkaligaw-ligaw na kami papunta dito. Tapos sabi ni Coach, huwag tayong mawala sa focus. Laro lang tayo, kunin natin yung panalo na to.
Paano nyo bibit-bitin yung energy nyo going to the playoffs, Mark?
Everyday naman nag-iinsayo kami, tsaka lagi kami nakafocus. Lalo na ngayon, playoffs na, kailangan na namin manalo talaga.
I'm sure madami kang friends and family watching. Batiin mo na sila.
Binabati ko nga pala asawa ko, tsaka 3 kong anak nanonood ngayon. Tsaka mga kaibigan ko sa Concepcion Tarlac, yun lang.
Congratulations to you and your team.
Binabati ko nga pala Gensan Warriors, like to thank sponsor OK Bet, CD14 Sportswear, Jinkies Skin, Icon 69 and Icon Motor Sales Brothers. Saka Michael Wico pala.
Once again, congratulations to you and your team, Marlon Gomez from the Gensan Warriors. This player of the game is brought to you by OK Bet, the official partner of the MPBL. With OK Bet, own the win. Back to you guys.
Thank you, Sham. Gensan will now await the results of the last games of the Sarangani Marlins to determine the final rankings in the upper part of the South Division standings. Up next here in Palayan City, the Nueva Ecija Rice Vanguards will be defending their home court. They will look to stay undefeated to end this season against a very hungry Batangas City Embassy Chill, who look to regain that #1 spot in the South Division. In behalf of my partner, Javi Palanya, our courtside reporter, Sam Coloso, my name is Mix Gomez at magbabalik po ang Maharlika Pilipinas Basketball League, ang liga ng bawat Pilipino.